Okay, I'll use the mic. Good evening, my name's Tom Green. I'm going to talk to you tonight about working with prototyping tools. And the title of this presentation is Faking It. I came across this title actually from one of my acquaintances who is a developer, and he said, well, you got to fake it and then you make it. So I'm going to deal with the faking it part. Now, a lot of you are looking at me and wondering, who is this guy? So let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm the professor of interactive multimedia at Humber College. You can see Humber College's logo down the bottom there. That's my day job. I'm an Adobe community professional. I talk about Adobe stuff all over the place. I write about it too, you'll see in a minute. I'm an Adobe education leader. Just got back from New York last week, dealing with 200 of the top educators on the planet that teach this stuff, which is kind of fun. And I'm a writer. I'm currently writing Foundation Animate, Adobe Animate. I've done about a dozen courses at lynda.com. I'm the graphics software editor for About.com. Now that one was really kind of neat because when I asked them, what do you mean by graphics software? They said, well, yeah, graphics software. And I said, okay, just give me the box. Like, and they said, no. I said, okay. And I said, no. They said, no, it's graphic software. And I said, what do you mean by graphic software? They said, graphic software. I said, anything? And they said, yeah, pinch me. So every month I write approximately 8 pieces about this, that, and the other thing. And also I've worked with Layers Magazine. I've done a lot of work with UXPin, written a couple of books for them. By the way, this is my I Love Me slide. Okay, so tell people that. Okay, so let's get started. So, I need somebody to describe a curveball to me. You guys all read the description. You knew that we were going to talk baseball. Okay, like, look at me. Do I look like an athlete? So could somebody please describe a curveball to me? Yes, sir. Curveball.
Jeff Reardon's best pitch ever.
Who the hell is Jeff Reardon? Describe how a curveball moves. Oh!
Jeff Reardon pitched for the Atlanta Braves. Curveball, you hold the ball, left-handed. Your fingers will make the ball move. Spin sideways.
Spin sideways.
Spin of the ball.
Spin of the ball.
Will create an optical illusion to the batter because the pitch is coming from a higher plane because the pitch was on a mound. And it seems like the ball is diving away from you when it's actually not.
Okay, so the ball comes down and does that?
A curveball can go left or right through the strike zone. It can also go up and down.
Or it can go up
It's
and
an
down.
optical illusion.
Okay, good. Anybody else want to tell me? I'm so confused.
What can I say? I love baseball.
I've noticed. Anybody else able to describe a curveball to me? Let's see. Anybody? Come on. No? Okay, let's go. Yeah, okay.
A pitch that probably has the greatest amplitude.
Amplitude.
Exactly.
Wow. Do you do sound too?
I dabble.
Okay. So I've got a curveball that comes on high and goes down like that. I got one that comes up. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
I'm going to give you my definition before I heard his definition.
That's fine.
But I mean, my definition is out the window, but I'll give it to you.
I don't care.
Okay. It's where the ball's coming at you and you expect it to be in point A, but it ends up being in point B.
Okay, so it just goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got it doing this. I'm coming in. I've got it doing this.
So an unexpected
An unexpected
twist or a curve.
A curve. Okay. Okay. So I've got 3 descriptions of the same thing. So here's what I saw. I did this, by the way, in Los Angeles last month. So I have to use the LA Dodgers, of course. There we go. Watch the ball. Comes right down this line here. Did you see the curve? Just a little. Okay, you want me to do it again? Okay, this is important. This is really important. Okay, I'm going to back this up. There we go. Watch the ball.
Yeah, it drops down.
Did you see the little curve? The thing is that if you follow this line here, it just sort of moves a little bit off of it.
That was a curve?
That was a curveball. Okay, that's important. You're probably all wondering, yeah, hold on, I'm here, to talk about, techie stuff, and here's this wingnut talking about curveballs. Well, this has definite application.
This is techie stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
Projectile motion.
I'm a designer, okay? Cut me some slack. So, when we're talking mobile, then what's with this? Okay, so we're telling everybody, well, yeah, when I tap this and slide it across, or when I swipe, or when I do something, everybody sort of has a different idea of what it looks like, right? Like right at the start of the process, you guys are developing these new mobile apps, or you're putting interactivity in, and you're using these sorts of things. And what happens is everybody forms a different idea of what it looks like in their mind's eye. I asked you to describe curveball. I got 3 different descriptions of it. Everybody kind of knew what a curveball was. But when I say we're going to take this icon, when I tap on this button, the door will slide out. Everybody will see the door slide in a different way. Has anybody encountered this one? Where you show somebody, here it is, and they go, that's not the one I thought you were going to do. Yeah, okay, thought so. So this is something I wrote in my wireframe, guide to wireframe interaction and motion, trying to explain an interactive dynamic process in a static medium leaves us open to misinterpretation. Everybody has a different idea of what it looks like. For example, when it comes to mobile, there's always an interaction before there is motion, isn't there? You touch a button, something happens. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, because we've got prototyping tools. So when I say I touch a button, there's something that happens. Want me to do it again? You just back this up. There we go. Okay, comes in, touches the button, boom, icons come flying out. Now try and imagine describing that to somebody that doesn't know what we do. Well, yes, when I touch the plus sign, it rotates, and then 3 little logos come flying out and bouncing into place. Say what? And then when you show it to them, that's what you hear. That's not what I expected to see. So what's happened is that we're suddenly in this wonderful world where we've now got the rise of the prototyping tools. Was anybody here using any of the prototyping tools? Oh, come on. I'd rather code it myself. I hate to break it to you, but prototyping tools are really starting to come into play. Prototyping tools are not the final answer, and that's why I'm here tonight. I want to talk to you a little bit about working with prototyping tools. And some of the tools I'm going to talk about tonight are UXPin. Anybody using UXPin? Anybody here familiar with it? Oh, you guys are in for a treat. Principal for Mac? You are? You used it? I'll tell you, these are all brand new. 5 years ago, these tools weren't here, right? You guys were working on paper saying, yeah, when I do this, it moves over here. Now you can show people how to do it. Adobe Experience Design, anybody using that one? I tried. I did the Linda course on it. And you didn't like it, did you? It's still under development. And Atomic.io? Anybody done anything with Atomic? Wow. What about Proto.io? And of course, good old InVision. Yeah, you guys have all used InVision. One I'm not going to talk about is InVision. One of the reasons is that they've now got the crapped plugin working for interactivity and stuff like that, and it's all in beta. So I'm not going to talk really about beta software. Fair? Okay. So these tools are really kind of weird. UXPin It's in browser. Okay, it's got plugins for Photoshop, it's got plugins for Sketch, so those of you that have graphic artists that work with Sketch, it's got the plugins for that. Principal for Mac, Mac only, standalone software, you gotta buy it, install it. Adobe Experience Design, for those of you that are looking for a freebie, that would be a good one. If you've got an Adobe Creative Cloud account, it's already there. If not, you can just go grab it, download it, and give it a try. Now this one here is under development. Every month they're rolling it out. And I'll tell you, right now it's strictly Mac only tool, but I can assure you that very shortly it will be Mac and PC. Atomic IO, online. Proto IO, online. Envision, well, we know that one. But we've got subscription, we've got software that you can buy, and its whole purpose is to basically demonstrate a curveball. That's its whole purpose. In other words, when you say to somebody, I'm going to put a button here, and when things happen, they can see what happens. And as a designer, this is great for me, because I can sit down with you guys and say, okay, here's what I see happening, and you go, well, hold on, that's impossible to code up. Have you guys had this one where you say, well, it's really hard to code up when the designer gets all huffy? Smack them. So when you're really talking about prototyping software, this is not software that's going to kick out the final product. It's not going to kick out workable code. Anybody that tries to tell you that they've got an editor that will kick out, production-ready code, they're dreaming in Technicolor. Especially you guys, right? You guys take the attitude, well, the only good code is the code I write. Of course it is. But we also have a process now where we're starting to work, especially when we're working in a mobile-first environment. And the process really starts with working out your ideas. And the first idea is always called low fidelity. You guys familiar with that one, lo-fi? I love this one. I got this one from my pal Dan Mel. Build ugly. This is where you can actually say, look, I got a button, and when I click it, shit happens. That's it, right? And then you can actually work out what that crap is. But it's ugly. It's not the final thing, it's just the concept. The next step in the process, of course, is medium fidelity, and it's just like working with stereo. Anybody go through this one? Oops. I got through that. There we go. Anybody have one of those, the transistor radios? Wow, we just dated ourselves.
Six transistors.
Yeah. Yeah, the more transistors, the better. But, this was low fidelity. This was like a tinny speaker, and it sounded like you were, speaking through a megaphone or something. It was terrible sound. And then you move up. Once you've got your low fidelity done, these are your wireframes. This is the sketches, the wireframes, and things like that. And then medium fidelity, basically, it's what it looks like. This is where, the graphic artist gets involved, and he or she starts saying, okay, fine. We're going to put this graphic here, we're going to put this logo here, we're going to have a button here, this is what the button's going to look like. And sometimes what they will have is light navigation. Click the button, go to the next screen, so to speak. And then the end of the process is, hi-fi is all about what it does. This is where you add interactivity, this is where you add motion, this is where you start working on how long things move. Anybody here know what the average length of time for something to move across a screen is? I know you guys can all tell me it's 48 pixels for a button, right? Can you tell me how long it takes for something to move from here to there? What's the benchmark? Ready? 500 milliseconds. That's half a second. Can anybody here imagine that? You can?
Yeah.
You live that world?
I do.
Yeah, so do I. When you work in multimedia, the great thing about working in multimedia is that time is irrelevant. I can turn a millisecond into an eternity, no problem. Just put a pause on it. But the average length of time is half a second. And when you're starting to think about that one, that's a pretty short whack of time, isn't it? And yet, that is what you normally see on your screens, especially in an iOS environment. So when you add motion, one of the first things I do is I start with a content wireframe, or a content reference wireframe. Do you know what anybody encountered this term before, content reference wireframe? This is where you don't worry about things moving. This is where you don't worry about graphics, words, anything. You don't even worry about color. It's just boxes on the page. But what you can do with these things is start your ideas then. When we move between this page and this page, we've got the transition. Here's how long it takes. Here's what happens. But it's a box moving. And you can tweak it. You can play with the time. And it also, as I say here, helps avoid confusion when layouts change or elements are rearranged. In other words, it's just boxes. So let me show you what I'm talking about. There you go. There's a content wireframe. This is done in UXPin. This is a mobile. And all I've got is a little header up here. And these are the boxes where they're going to go. This is where the content's going to go. Notice there's no focus on content. It's just where it goes. And you can start arguing with people about the space. You can argue about how things move across. And you can also have the transitions between page to page. The other thing I love about working with UXPin is that you can actually prepare iPhone, iPad, and you get tablet, and you get the UI kits. You get all kinds of stuff that you can quickly, rapid prototype. This one is Principle for Mac. I like this one. Again, here's a content wireframe, where basically I just do a box, got a button here, and I tap a button, a menu slides in, a drawer. And if I tap it, you can see what you can do with it. You can come in, you can say, okay, fine, I want to put a little easing on it. And then you can come up here and you can say, look, I want to test it, and you can do it right in the project. The other thing you can do with these things, by the way, most of them have them, is the ability to record this stuff. And when you record it, it kicks out an MP4, an MP4. It also may even kick out an animated GIF. But basically what you can do is you can send it to your client or to the team and say, tell me what you think. Is this kind of what you were thinking? And away you go. So that's content wireframe. Medium fidelity is a little bit different. Medium fidelity is where you start building in the graphics. This is where you start working with Sketch. All of the prototyping apps now are pretty well developing Sketch plugins, or they give you the ability to copy and paste or just drop it in. So if you're working with a graphic artist and he says, well, I don't know, you say, yes, you can. And with this one here, it's just a little mobile app. Oh, let me back that up. Let me show you this one. Come on. There we go. So this is UXPin. Hopefully this will be quicker. Yeah. What you can do is you can set up your design space. And you can say, look, I want the iPhone version. And I want to take it out to an iPad. And I want a web page that's 900 pixels. And I want an Android phone. You can put them all in the same prototype. And then the cool thing about this one is that you can then view and you can test these things too. And basically you just click a button right here. Right here, this little preview button. And what this will do is it will kick it up to their server. It will give you the opportunity to preview it. You can send the link out for people to comment. back to the show. Adobe XD is kind of neat. Those of you that haven't used it, you really should give it a look. Like I said, it's a work in progress, but boy, it's fun to use. So here we go. So here's a little iOS thing I do. You click on it, boom. And then you click on that, you go there. And you can, so you can move between screens, so you can quickly prototype it. And the way they work with it is kind of cool because when you connect everything, it's just a little wire. So you say, when I click on this object, I want to go from here to there. They've also got this thing here, which is which is kind of a neat little widget that they've built in. Here, let me just pop out of that. So basically, you just start like that, and then they have this thing called a repeat grid, which is where you make one little tab or whatever, and you just click and drag through it, and it'll put the whole thing together for you. And what are we doing? This one here is Proto.io. Again, you can just click and say I want to go somewhere. This is how they do the interactions. Again, these are interactions that you guys are going to have to code up at some point. So you can sit down with whoever you're working with and say, okay, fine, it's going to be a tap. I want to go 400 milliseconds. Here's the easing we want to use. And it will do it for you. And you can kick out a prototype, and the prototype can be filmed or kicks out a video, or it even gives you the opportunity to comment on the prototype. So it's pretty good. Let me see if I can get over to the project here. There we go. Here's the prototype that the client would say. So I just come in here, click on this, click on this, go back. And you can send this off as a link and say, look, here's what you do. So these are wonderful little tools that will make your life easy. At the same time, you're not going to have to deal with designers not understanding what you guys do. This is a high fidelity one. This was done in Principle for Mac. So if I click on that, boom. And the really cool thing about this is, you know, as a developer or a designer, you can say, that takes too long. That takes too long. It's not big enough. It's whatever. Fine. Crumble it up, throw it out, make it bigger, do it again. It takes you approximately 5 minutes to do. This is not the end of the world. So here's some examples. This little piece I did, I used Adobe Animate and Photoshop. How long did it take me to do? 10 minutes. Like, come on. This one here used UXPin for search. How long did it take? 15 minutes. A couple of graphics. And by the way, all these little icons and things are always built into the applications. They've got the UI kits built in. You just drag and drop them in. This one here, After Effects and Photoshop. This is an assignment I give my students to do, actually. It takes about 30 minutes to do. And finally, good old Photoshop and Atomic I/O. And it's simple, simple stuff. It took me 15 minutes to pull that together. So when you're working on mobile projects, I guess the bottom line here is you're going to have to start showing rather than just saying. And prototyping software is a new genre of software that's arriving. I think it's pretty cool. I really enjoy it. It makes my life easier because I can experiment, but at the same time, you guys can work with the designer, or if you're the designer, work with a coder, and sort of get everything down the way you want it. And it's disposable. Like I said, you can kick out the final assets for this, and then it's over to you guys, you know, to wire it up. But at least the client or the team has a click-through or something they can use that is the basis for discussion. The other thing that these things do, by the way, is if they kick out these prototypes that you can put online, you can use them for user testing. Okay? So if you've got a usability lab or you've got access to user testing, you can use these for that and find out where the pain points are. So there you go. Thank you. It's been great talking to you. That's my Twitter handle. Feel free to look me up on Twitter. And you can look me up on Gmail if you've got any questions. I love to be bugged. Are there any questions that I can answer? I'm going to be here for the rest of the night, so you can bug me. Wow. Okay. Yo.
Legitimate question.
Sure.
Sorry about this part. For what's the cost associated with all those prototyping tools? And I don't mean just financial costs. I mean, what about IP and what about those people owning your ideas and anything like that? If they're free, you're paying with something.
When you are sending the prototypes out for comment, the link only goes to whoever you say it goes to. Okay, so this is not stuff that goes out, well, it's on my website, go check it out. No, 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 no. They will actually, many of them, in fact, practically all of them, allow you to say, here's who gets it, here's who the members of the team are. UXPin does a really cool little bit. It gives you the ability to comment. So when it's opened on screen, they can tap on it and make a comment, you know, this is over a little bit too much, I don't like how long this takes. Your client will go, oh, the color's wrong, you spelled my name wrong, that's not my wife, you know, that sort of stuff. But these comments will stay with the project, so when it comes back to the team, all the comments are there, and you've got a running record. And a lot of them are starting to build that in. Anybody else? Yes?
What's the difference between Flinto and the protocol?
What's the difference between Flinto? They all do the same thing. Okay, really. When you get right down to it, they all do the same thing. I have this discussion with people all the time. Well, what's the difference? Why should I use Sketch if I use Photoshop? Oh, shit, you know, it's the same thing. It's just a different way of doing it and talking about it. Once you learn how to use one, you can use them all. And by the way, I'm not saying to you that, you know, any of these are better. Find out what works for you. If UXPin doesn't fly, then the hell with it. Try something else. But this type of software is going to be coming into your workflow. I guarantee it. Anybody else? Just to give you an idea of that one, lynda.com has contracted me to do a lot of the UX design tools for them. I'm working on, I just did Principal and Experience Design. They want me to do UXPin and Proto.IL. So these things are starting to become asked for. Lynda wouldn't ask for it if they weren't getting asked. Yes, sir.
So as a UI person, judging by the demos you did, you're a big fan of using animation and motion in your UIs.
Dude, you have no choice. Okay, static in a mobile environment just doesn't work anymore. Even just a simple drag. You got to figure out how long that is. That's motion. Okay. The other thing is, just, you know, motion doesn't always happen in a straight line. There's always an arc. Right? Just a little animation hit there. But animation and motion, they're there. They're going to have to be part of your DNA. Does anybody here follow Val Head at all? I mean, she's the queen of all that moves in the CSS universe. I'm sorry, did I cut you a question?
No, you didn't.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you.